in Liberia and across the globe. Hello and welcome to News Today on KMTV with me, Anthony Kukui. Wherever you're watching us from, we say thanks for joining our news broadcast tonight. Let's take a look at stories making the headlines. West African leaders and international organizations condemn Tuesday's coup in Mali. Thousands to benefit from job opportunities in Maryland as an oil palm factory nears completion in the county. Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA, presents US 5,000 check to national COVID-19 response. Many thanks for staying with us. We begin the program in Mali, where Tuesday's coup in the West African country has been condemned by West African leaders and some international peacekeeping and humanitarian organizations. The leaders of the Tuesday's military coup in Mali have had talks with opposition leaders who have welcomed the ousting of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. The UN Security Council has condemned the coup, while West African leaders have announced a blockade and Thursday held a video conference discussing how they can handle the situation. AU has suspended Mali's membership until the country can restore to constitutional order. Over now to Liberia, a check of 50,000 United States dollars has been presented to the National COVID-19 Task Force of Liberia through the Ministry of Youth and Sports for the National Youth Task Force against COVID-19. The money was presented on Thursday by the Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA. KMTV's Anjali Noah reports.
There is a restriction on the check presented by OSIWA to the National COVID-19 Task Force. The cash must only be used to battle COVID-19 as in creating more awareness about the virus in the country. According to OSIWA's Liberia Country Director Ms. Marsa Creton, COVID-19 is a huge challenge to their work as an organization dealing with issues affecting West Africa's civil society.
We hope that this funding will, in a very large measure, be able to ease or to help the ministry or the task force in particular as they go through their work against COVID-19. Definitely, COVID as a health issue is going to affect our work as we work with communities, as we work with civil society organizations, we work with the government on various governance issues. So if you don't have a healthy population, of course, governance becomes an issue. And health is a governance issue.
Madam Mirabel, Director General of the General Service Agency and Head of COVID-19 Task Force, upon receiving the cash, assured the organization of the proper usage of the cash. She wasted no time in turning the cash over to the Ministry of Youth and Sports that will be implementing the awareness campaign.
So I would like to take this time to thank the OSIWA family for what you have contributed to this fight against COVID-19 through the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Well, thank you so much. So at this time, Minister of Youth and Sports, Honorable Zioga Wilson, is also a football legend, right? Right? I think I understand that. I want to now present you with this $50,000 check.
Madam Bra also raised a major concern about community's engagement on the prevention of the virus.
Minister Zioga Wilson, for us to really sit with the the task force for youth to talk about the community engagement, risk communication. How do we communicate with this youthful population to contain the virus? Because they are not wearing their nose masks, they are not socially distancing, they are not washing their hands. I'm hearing all sorts of stories. I'm hearing justification. You and I both know that we need Linsu, we need Fly. We need all these other organizations along with the press to go into the communities, engage them.
The support from OSIWA was described by Minister Zioga Wilson as the biggest support to the National Youth Against COVID-19 Task Force and commended the co-chair of the task force, Granted Myers, for recommending the ministry to Osiwa. Liberia now has 1,284 infections with a death toll of 82. Angelique Noor, KMTV News, Monrovia.
Civil Law Court President George Kennedy P. Ballard has issued a writ of summons for Representative Edwin Slow of Bowman County in connection with his wife, Associate Justice Shannon DeVoe's action. He is to appear before August 22 to respond to his wife DeVoe's action against him. The pair has been married for about 4 years, but Justice Yo's action seeking divorce for incompatibility of tempo or the particular details pertaining to why the Associate Justice is seeking divorce to divorce her husband remains unclear. A book of condolence was on yesterday opened at the Capitol building for 40 Sano County Representative J. Members Law. It followed weeks of controversies and court actions over the ownership of his remains since his death at the John F. Kennedy Hospital in Monroeville, or is now settled for the funeral rites of the late Sano County lawmaker. KMTV's Angelique Noor reports.
In the medical center in Monrovia. His death follows after a brief illness at the hospital. Minutes after signing the book of condolence today, President George Weah described the late representative as a dutiful statesman who will be missed, adding that he proved to be an honorable man.
Well, it's sad to come here again for another body to pay respect. But he's a statement. We're going to miss him and everything he did for our country. His work, he was diligent, his duty, and he's going to be missed. And for the short time I got to know him, he's proven to be an honorable person. And he's a state person and someone that dedicated life to the Liberian people, with a career, both in the parliament and then being a former journalist. During the dark days, we heard him, he was advocating, but it's sad to know that he's gone. I just want to again express my sympathy to his family, and may his soul rest in perpetual peace.
Before the settlement of dispute in court over the remains of Representative Slow, Ruth Disler, who claims to be the widow of the late representative, filed a writ of injunction to the 6th Judiciary Circuit Court, restraining a lady claiming to be a fiancée to the late lawmaker from proclaiming with funeral activities over her husband's remains. But all is now settled for the funeral rites of the late representative. This follows after Ms. Kwa Bayo, who claims to be the late representative fiancée, abandoned the case in court. Angelique Noor, KMTV News, Monrovia.
Well, the late Sano County lawmaker, who was a career journalist, advocated did not end just in mainstream, but also continued when he was at the lower house of representatives as chairman on the House's Committee on Information, Broadcasting, Culture and Tourism. KMTV take a look back at the lawmaker addressing one of his press conferences on Capitol Hill.
I chair the Committee on Information, Broadcasting, Culture and Tourism. During a recent trip out of the country, the president of Legispool was barred from covering the House. I'm told it was done by the Director of Press and Public Affairs in the Capitol building. First of all, that's a function too big for the Director of Public Affairs to undertake by himself. Buffer Chambers told him to do that, and Buffer keeps denying that he told Isaac to do that. Isaac is not crazy, I know him. If you are man enough to take this decision, why you can't own it? And that's why I'm very angry. One, they bypass the Committee on Information. Nobody can say, oh, because you were not in the country. That's a whole committee. Numbers Law is not the committee, but Buffer is the newest dictator that Africa has known. If it's not a way, it can be any other person's way. And I'm surprised at the Legispool people themselves. You are the problem. Today is Mohammed, tomorrow will be you, it will be any of you. You should boycott this damn house. Let Buffalo write his own story and carry it to EFBC or wherever he wants to carry it. This is your president, for heaven's sake. He's illegally stopped from covering the legislature.
Well, that was a flashback on the late Sano County Representative J. Nambwe. If you just joined us, you're watching News Today, a news presentation of the News and Current Affairs Department of KMTV Liberia. Well, it is now time that we take our break, but here's what's still ahead of us. Thousands to benefit from job opportunities in Maryland County as the oil palm factory nears completion in the county. This plus many more developments all coming up right after this short break. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's now take this development. The Ministry of Transport's regular vehicles inspection exercise usually appears as a nightmare for drivers and vehicle owners, as many intentionally refuse to register to pay taxes due to government. As the inspection exercise continues across the country, KMTV's Emmanuel Tatumukori files in this report on the importance of vehicle owners paying lawful revenue due to government.
During the inspection exercise, the streets of Monrovia are normally left empty, with limited vehicles to transport commuters due to non-compliance from many drivers. This action on the part of drivers and car owners at times leads to impoundment of vehicles and outbursts between drivers and inspectors. Despite several outcry by drivers about the slow pace of traffic coupled with the outbreak of the coronavirus in the country, there is still no room for justification on why vehicles should not be registered and inspected to ensure compliance. Notwithstanding these creeping challenges, the Ministry of Transport remains the sector ministry that continues to raise the highest revenue for the government.
MOT are consistently like 3 or 4 years, so they have been the government institution that have always collected the highest revenue or tax fees. Even there is a program we're also working on for this, just in the fiscal year 19 and 20. Again, MOT is the highest contributor to the basket.
Howard describes tax payment as a key component to nation building, noting that a good taxpayer is an engine for national growth and development.
Government projects are funded through taxes worldwide. You might, no matter how much grant or assistance you may be receiving from foreign nations, the core support of your projects is the domestic revenues. So it is key for every country to ensure that those domestic revenues are collected. We all are Liberians. Even if you are not working, right? Those taxes, I may be your brother or cousin. When I'm paying my taxes, those taxes are going to benefit you directly or indirectly. The fact that government is going to improve JFK, government is going to build the roads, and when the roads are built, they're not going to restrict people to say because you did not pay, you shouldn't drive. Everybody gets the same benefit. So in that principle, once you pay, it's something that benefits everyone. That social responsibility is key.
Commissioner Howe also applauded foreign nationals for living up to their statutory social responsibility to the state. He maintained that on the ratio, foreign businesses are more tax disciplined than Liberian-owned businesses.
Liberians, we think because it is our country, we should not pay taxes. Liberian businesses, they talk about, oh, we don't pay taxes.
Not compliant?
They are compliant, but not on the same rate as when you compare to the foreign nationals. The foreign nationals pay more taxes than Liberian businesses. It is an established fact. Liberian may feel that it is his country, so he should not pay.
Though it is good for citizens to be tax-friendly, the Revenue Authority has warned citizens and business owners to be careful of fake individuals who are purporting to be agents of the Liberia Revenue Authority. Emmanuel Tatomokoli, KMTV News, Pinsville.
Many thanks to our reporter Emmanuel Tatumukori for that report. Let's now move over to Maryland County, where an oil palm factory is currently undergoing construction in Plibo-Soligan District. The factory is being constructed by Golden Verulam Liberia and the Safeguard group of companies. But what's the level of work done so far at the factory? KMTV's Maryland County correspondent Baron Diouf toured the facility and filed in this report.
The factory construction, which started since 2018, is near 60% completion, according to Chantel Limited Liberia Human Resources Manager Tikon Dixon. There are high prospects for thousands of young Liberians to be employed upon completion. But how and when will the factory be completed was the question I posed to Mr. Dixon.
It started 2018 December, and because of the weather, I think we have gone 60% of this project, as you can see. All right, so we are hoping that by early 2021, at least maybe the process, if the rain does not disturb, all right, we hope to be turning over that the Liberian will have a very good and modern factory that people can talk about.
He indicated that the factory will effectively provide many jobs to Liberians and impact Maryland County economically. The factory project manager, Hassaf Yafid, explained more about equipment and other process to get their factory completed.
Another crane on the site to speed up the work to early after the next rainy season. It will be a problem if we cannot reach our target before next May. It will be a problem because maybe we will have another rainy season from June to August, and it will be delayed more and more.
As for Maryland County Development Superintendent Ruben Scott, the construction of the factory in Maryland County is a major boost for the county.
I want to say I'm very much impressed, especially with the kind of level of job well done, and looking at the side of the factory. And I think that this is a plus for the people of Pluto Southern District, for the people of Maryland County, for the Southeast and the rest of Liberia. Because with this factory, with this giant factory being built here, it will empower our people economically. Those that had a private farm, there are a lot of people that are developing palm farmland locally, and they will be able to get market. Because as we speak, most of the farmers have already started complaining that their palms reach to the stage of harvest, and they take the palm to Ivory Coast using private camp motors or trucks that cost them more money, and at the end of it, they don't realize anything.
He said the project, when completed, will allow Marylanders to embark on the planting of palm, aimed at maintaining the factory production. As to how many Liberians will be trained and qualified to operate various types of earth-moving equipment and other machines to run the factory is the biggest question that remains unanswered. Reporting for KMTV News from Maryland County, I'm Brian Dio.
Stay in Maryland County, the Division on Higher Education Standard at the Ministry of Education has approved the William V. Stockman University in Harport, Maryland County, to run a graduate school at the university. As our Maryland County correspondent reports, the university is currently faced with some financial constraints.
The facility is just one of the best in the southeastern of Liberia, equipped with some of Liberia's best professors. At a news conference, the university's president, Elliot Wilson, said, "Or is now set to run a full master's degree program at the institution after operating."
Now, Tufts University is here. We don't want to stop at the bachelor's level, so we've been working with the National Commission. Yesterday, they gave final approval for our programs. What we have to do now is to assemble the faculty to do what we say we want to do. We have the programs, we have the curricula in place, we have some faculty in place, but we will be looking for some expertise in certain areas where we don't have those expertise.
Dr. Wilson meanwhile outlined that the university is facing some financial constraints due to the refusal of several persons to pay financial aid on the university.
They took away money from us that they were supposed to give us, so the money is not there. I was in Monrovia, we met the Minister of Finance. He said they will do all they can to put the money back. The money from last year's budget, they took it out. We haven't received 1 cent from government. So we're depending on the small fees the children pay here.
Youths from across Liberia are taking up the challenge to attend the TU University, as many of them do not have financial support to pursue quality education in Liberia's capital, Monrovia. For KMTV News, I'm Brian Dio, reporting from Maryland County.
Many thanks to our Maryland County correspondent, Baron Diouf. Let's now move over to Capitol Hill, where the Liberian Senate Thursday conducted confirmation hearing for Deputy Internal Affairs Minister Polita Sisi Weir. She has again been reappointed as Deputy Minister for Urban Affairs at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Madam Weir resigned in 2019 to contest in the special senatorial elections in Montserrat County on the ticket of the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change. But how did the confirmation hearing go today on Capitol Hill? KMTV Liberals correspondent, that's legislative correspondent, Zach Totiama Sherman reports.
It is customary that all nominees take an oath before facing the Liberian Senate. They must be quizzed and properly scrutinized by these tough-talking members of the Liberian Senate. A nominee must justify his or her inclusion to steering the affairs of the country in their respective office they are appointed to by the President. Appearing more relaxed as she faced members of the Liberian Senate, Polita Weir wasted no time in justifying why she is qualified to serve again in her position appointed to.
Ask the international partners to do more for Liberia, because we see that most of our country, people in our country don't have resources, and things are very hard to even live in a good shelter. So we ask them to please do more and ask for them to extend our program or their program not only to Montserrat or Pinsdale or other counties, because they have other capital cities.
It appears that it was a smooth ride for Polita Weir, as she received a lot of commendation from the senator, including former Internal Affairs Minister, now Senator of Bon County, and others.
As former Minister of Internal Affairs, I'm impressed with what you did when you were there. I'm glad that you are coming back to continue. I want to congratulate you. You got my vote.
I think you are a leader of strength. I think you are a leader of focus. And whatever we can do, the chairman office is open. Our office is open. We'll be prepared to work along with you, your ministry, your office, to give you whatever support we can give you. I wish you the best.
I just want to say thank you, and I believe in my mind, as a female, very young indeed, you are up to the task.
Now the man who defeated her in the election, Senator Delon, shocked many, as he did not raise any critical issue with the nominee as he often do with others.
I can only wait should the Liberian Senate confirm you, go and do your best in service to your country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But as for Senator Jonathan Copy of Grand Bassa County, he picks the mind of the nominee on urban budget funding, since she will oversee such department at the Internal Affairs Ministry.
Advocacy for the cities to get some money in the national budget. If that we succeed, my thing is that you're going to have oversight in terms of your function. Is that something good that we're trying to do? What you think about it?
I think it's a very brilliant idea that you mentioned. And I think that's why I said when I'm confirmed by the grace of God, definitely I will join them to fight for that.
From every indication, it appears that the nominee will receive free passage by members of the Liberian Senate, as most of them spoke of her ability to properly execute her previous job. From the grounds of central politics, I am Zach Totiama reporting for KMTV News.
Well, with that development coming from Capitol Hill, that's all we have for you for now. Do join us tomorrow at the same time. Better still, you can visit our website at www.kmtvlibrary.com for more developments. Before going here, once again, our stories that made the headlines. West African leaders and international organizations condemned Tuesday's coup in Mali. Thousands to benefit from job opportunities in Maryland County as an oil palm factory in the county is nearing completion. And the Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA, has presented a US $5,000 check to the National Task Force against COVID-19. We say many thanks to you for always joining our news broadcast from across the globe. On behalf of the entire team here, my name is Anthony Kugwe. Do have yourself a pleasant night from Monrovia.
Let's keep on breaking silences with a few notes of music. Let's keep on opening new windows to travel across the world. Let's keep on fighting loneliness with a few